Okay. Sorry, I had promised to record this. I just skipped out of my mind. So, if your expiry is any time between today or it was between 31st of March to 31st of March 2021, please be assured you are, you are safe. You are going to get the export house benefit until 31st of March 2021. But for all those who had an expiry after 31st of March, maybe you are having expiry in 2022, it still continues. So whichever is later, it continues. So don't worry on that front at all. Status holder is extended. Advance authorization scheme, many of you may avail, may not avail. Uh, if you are availing advance authorization, the exemption on IGST and compensation cess has been extended till 31st of March 2021. This is done by the GST Council. It was further notified by DGFT and Customs. Quick points on advanced license or advanced authorization. A very general understanding you need to get it very clear. It is very simple. Whether it is related to your no norms, whether it is related to your import validity on the license, meaning you have to import and your license was valid till certain time, or you have to export and you had an export obligation period. If either of these is between 1st of February to 31st of July 2020, mind you, 1st of February to 31st of July 2020, it automatically gets extended for 6 months. No extra charges, no amendment, no endorsement, nothing is to be done. It is suo moto automatically done. So if your license is expiring, even if it is going to expire in June, please understand, even after, let's assume we are through with the lockdown, your license was expiring June. There's no more lockdown. However, if your license validity, your export obligation is between February 1st, 2020 to 31st of July 2020, you automatically get a 6 month extension. And after that, you still have the provision of the normal extension or revalidation paying the normal composition fee and the charges or the penalty, whatever is leviable. So this is like almost like an original date extension which is happening by giving you extra 6 months. TFIA, if you're trading or you're getting a TFIA, again it is a post-export benefit, so it will only have an expiry date. It will not have an export obligation. That is again extended from February. But if it is between February to July, 6 month extension is available to you upfront. If you have machines, I'm sure most of you are merchant exporters, but in case if you have a supporting manufacturer or if you have got some EPCG licenses, again your IGST and compensation sales has been extended till 31st of March 2021. Exemption is extended. Here also your validity, your installation certificate date, your blockwise EO, again falling between the February 1st, 2020 to 31st of July 2020. The extension of 6 months is again available. Anybody who has microphone on, my request is please switch it. Put it on mute so that there is less disturbance. No, don't unmute it, Mukesh. Abhishek ji, you'll have to mute it back. I see
Yeah,
Nilesh ji.
sorry, I'll do
Yeah,
that.
yeah. No worries. I can understand. You're already muted. Just mute it back. I think even Nilesh ji,
Yeah.
your mic is on. So if you can mute it back, it will be great. Great. Thank you. So for all EPCG, your whether it is your installation certificate, whether it is blockwise extension, sir, your mic is on. Abhishek ji, your mic is on, sir.
Sir, it has been stuck to unmute. I am trying to make it back.
I think this is
But there is
yeah.
no one behind me.
Okay, no worries. Okay, let me try if I can mute you. Yes, I can. I don't know if I could mute you, but I tried doing it. Okay, fine. Any which ways the voice is gone. So again, validity, installation, and blockwise EO for EPCG has been extended for 6 months when it is between February and July. Now, at various point of time, department extended the benefit of giving you one condonation in case if you have forgotten. Now, please remember this was for February to July, but now we are referring to cases where it is an old EPCG, you have forgotten, or there's an issue with that. Your export obligation period, you have not applied for extension, or you forgot to apply for installation certificate. There were condonation option available, meaning you were not supposed to pay anything, just go ahead and do it. Um, you were allowed to just go ahead and do it. However, that was expiring on 31st March 2020. DGFT has just issued public notice number 1 on 7th of April and said, okay, the continuation for blockwise EO, if you have missed out, we will give it to you for next 1 year. In next 1 year, come to us, submit your installation certificate, submit your blockwise extension, no charges, no composition fee, just regularize your case. So that's a very good thing in case if you have any EPCGs which are pending. Uh, let's go for next. RCMC. You are aware that RCMC, that is a membership certificate with, in your case, is Pharmaxil, is valid for a financial year. So every 1st April, we generally go and renew our RCMC by paying the fees. Typically, I'm sure Pharmaxil and all councils have become online, so renewal can be done online. But just in case if you are having any difficulties, department or DGFT has very categorically confirmed that until 30th of September, it will not insist for an RCMC, which means if you apply tomorrow for MEIS, which requires technically to have a valid RCMC, because you have not paid fees and you don't have any valid RCMC, the same will be uh, not a hindrance. You may continue, you know, just applying for it and you will have no problems. But of course, after we come out of normal lockdown and normalcy, you have to go and pay your fees. So fees is not, I mean, it's not removed or exempted. It is just that for until 30th of September, they will not be insisting for a renewed valid RCMC. That's basically what is being discussed here. Since we were talking specific to pharma, I think it was very valid to give you a clarity. I'm sure most of you now by now have it, but just to give you clarity on your lot of export policies which have got changed specifically with pharma items. So your PPE equipment,
I
personal
can't hear
protection.
you.
Sorry, am I audible? Sandeep, am I audible?
Yes, you are audible. Yes.
Okay,
In between, there is one or two member whose mic is on. I think so.
okay. I'm sure. I mean, I think they're joining in, so they are not aware of it. So that's fine.
Yeah. Just,
Uh,
just you can once again we can.
Okay, my
Uh,
request to all members of the participants of the webinar is if you can switch off your mic and your video at the moment. They're all looking at a presentation, so we will look at you after some time. But at the moment, your mic and video can be switched off. That will help all of us. Thank you so much. So specifically on your export policy in the PP, the personal protection equipment and masks, they were prohibited by notification number 44 and 47, very in the beginning of the year in January. Uh, then there was a modification done where products except PPE and N95 masks, there were about 10 or 12 items which were allowed, which included 2, 3 ply masks and everything. However, the current position, the latest update is that your surgical masks, your disposable masks, including 2, 3 ply masks, are prohibited. Your ventilators and the textile material for that mask is also prohibited at the moment. However, the 9 items which were allowed in notification 48, which is like surgical blades, non-woven shoe covers, gas masks. I'm just giving you the brief of it. Of course, you can refer to notification 48. It continues to be free, but your masks, your surgical masks, your disposable masks, 2, 3 ply, N95, your PPE export is completely prohibited. You cannot export. Coming to some other items related to pharma, which has been modified. So your ventilators, whatever name you may call it, whether it is for artificial respiratory or oxygen therapy. Uh, Dr. Mohiddin sir, can I request you to switch off your mic, sir? Yeah, okay. And you can switch off video at the moment. I don't need your video. You unmuted again. So ventilators and somebody else. 582973477454. Mr. Purva. Guys, please, once again, I request you all to switch off your mic because what is happening is I am going to get my own echo. Thank you. Um, so your ventilators are now prohibited. Sanitizers are prohibited for export, and I'm talking about export policy. So be very clear, we're talking about export and not import. This is export out of India to anywhere in the world. I'm sure this has been a talk of town. Everybody, including Mr. Trump, has been talking about this. Hydrochlorochloroquine and its formulation is prohibited. It is prohibited even from SEZ. Yes, I'm aware that certain hydrochloroquine has been exported. That is by the government on humanitarian and diplomatic grounds. That is separate. You and me cannot export uh, hydrochloroquine. It has been prohibited completely. Your diagnostics kits, now whatever it may be, whether it is laboratory reagents or what you may call it a diagnostic kit, that has been now been prohibited, restricted as well. So these are some items which are now under prohibited or restricted list of products as far as we are concerned. Uh, okay, I think I missed was API. I missed this slide for API. I'm sure you are aware. You on 3rd of March, 13 APIs and its formulation were restricted suddenly. And then obviously we had a clarification and a circular whereby at least people who had advanced authorizations and orders under advanced license, they were allowed. Finally, on 6th of April, department released that you can export 12 APIs and its formulation without any problem. Paracetamol was continued to be restricted. Uh, both API and formulation. And on 17th of April, formulation of paracetamol, uh, including FDCs, were allowed. So effectively, out of the entire 4 notifications and circulars, API of paracetamol is still restricted. You cannot export that. Rest again goes back to normal, which was pre-March situation. So that's the kind of a exemption. Coming to specifically for pharma, we had this barcode where track and trace system was to be implemented. This implementation has been was required to be done from 1st of April. I'm sure you are all very well versed with what is happening on that front. However, that mandatory requirement of track and trace has been postponed till 1st of October 2020. We will have to see what happens in and around October. Are we going to be able to implement it or not? But at the moment, it's going to be implemented on by 1st of October 2020. When you export, you are required to offer certificate of origin. If you are exporting to Europe, there are certificate of origin requirement is REX in many cases. Now that application requires you to submit a physical document to DGFT for your REX number. DGFT has announced whereby they will accept email or soft copy rather than a physical copy to issue you the REX number. Electronic filing of a specific or preferential certificate of origin. So if many countries we have a preferential certificate of preferential trade agreement and we are issuing certificate of origin on preferential basis. Many of you may not be going into this because as pharma generally the duties are pretty less, but let's look at some diagnostic or some ancillary products related to pharma. There could be duties on that. In that situation, what would happen is if you are issuing your free trade agreement certificate of origin, that is a preferential, popularly called as GSP and other aspects. Those out of those, at least about 3 or 4 had become online by DGFT. So there was a website called Certificate of Origin, coo.dgft.gov.in. Uh, 3 or 4 of them, India, Chile, India, Nepal under SAFTA, India, Korea under SEPA. These were already online. They have now introduced about 6 or 7 of new free trade agreements. India, ASEAN, India, Japan, SARC, SAPTA with other countries, APTA, and India, Sri Lanka free trade agreement. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 agreements with these countries which are already there. They're completely online from 7th of April, meaning you need not go to Export Inspection Agency. You need not go to DGFT. Compulsory, you will have to issue it online. That's the compulsion. That's a process automation which has happened. So now you'll have to get it issued online, which is completely working fine. So this is something which was related to DGFT. Coming to the customs and the GST aspect of it, again, if you are importing, you are supposed to require to file your bill of entry within a stipulated time. Unless if you file, there is a late fee of 5,000 rupees per day for first 3 days and then 10,000 rupees for next day onwards, 3 days onwards. This has been stopped from 20th of March until further notice. So even if you file a little later bill of entry, you do not attract those late fee charges. If you require to get some important, you are required to submit bond. That bond has been waived off. The conditions of the bond have been waived off. And instead of that, some documentation, some declarations have to be given. A specific circular number has been issued. The date was up to 15th of April earlier. There was a later circular issued number 21 to extend it till 15th of May. So that is something related to bonds. You might have imports under your raw materials or some finished goods or packaging material, whatever you may have. Uh, you were required, or your CHA was required to get something called as out of charge and then a gate pass so that the containers could move or the cargo could be released from airport. The entire process of out of charge and gate pass is become online system driven, and an email will come to you in form of PDF, which will have two barcodes, one for out of charge, one for gate pass. The gate pass or the gate officer, the custodian, your MIL could just scan those barcodes and allow to release your cargo without any physical or documentary intervention. Many of your drawbacks and IGST is pending, and this is a situation where we are looking at a very limited inflow of cash, and that is creating a lot of challenges. To answer that issue of the trade, department has released a clarification or instruction to all the ports and customs saying that please release the refunds and drawback at the earliest for all the exporters. This has come somewhere in 9th of April, and then subsequently we could see from 10th, 11th, 12th, almost all custom ports releasing drawbacks and IGST refunds on a daily basis. Somewhere 30 crores, somewhere 40 crores, somewhere 100 crores have been released. I know personally, interacting with Sandeep and FPME members, many of your drawbacks and IGST refunds have been released and you've got the payment into your bank account. In case if you want to import at this point of time, and again you are into pharma, so you might want to import some of these items. If you're thinking to import anything related to ventilators or apparatus of that, face masks or surgical masks, PPE, COVID-19 kits, or its raw material, any of those raw materials required to manufacture, government has exempted the basic customs duty and the health cess which is applicable on this. So just in case if you wish to import and if you have supplier in place, logistics in place, you may want to look at this. If you're storing goods in warehouse and then trading, then there was a mandatory requirement of e-sealing that has been postponed till 1st of July. So this is just a informative. Coming to GST, I'm sure a lot of your chartered accountants, a lot of GST consultants have already advised you on these, and you might have aware of it. But from an export perspective, I just want to quickly give you some few pointers. There has been a change in the return filing, or rather, giving you some waiver. So your GSTR1, which you file every 10th of every month, there, if you don't file it, there is a late fee charge. For the period of March, April, and May, or even the quarter of March and then quarter of April, May, and June, there is an extension given to you that in case if you don't file it up to 30th of June, there is no problem. There will be no late fee. So you can file up to 30th of June, and there will be no late fee charged to you up to 30th of June. For GSTR 3B, where you actually make the payment of the liability, there it has been decided that if your turnover is more than 5 crores in the preceding financial year and you pay within 15 days of the due date. So imagine the March due date was April 20th. 15 days from April 20th is about 5th of May or 3rd of May if you calculate 3rd or 4th of May. So if you pay by that time, then there is no interest being charged. Please understand, late fee penalty is already waived off, and no interest is also charged. If you pay after that, instead of 18% interest, 9% interest will be charged, provided you have paid it before 21st of June. So for the balance number of days, so if I let's assume if I pay on 10th of May, 3rd May was, let's say, the deadline. So for 7 days, I will be charged at the interest at the rate of 9% per annum, calculated on number of days instead of 18% per annum. Now, this is only for people whose turnover is more than 5 crores in the preceding year. If your turnover is less than 5 crores, You file your returns up to 29th or 30th of June, staggered, whatever the nearest dates are, you are eligible for no interest payment. The rate of interest applicable to you is nil. So if it is March, April, or May, you have filed your return by 29th or 30th of June, you are not required to pay any interest, no late fee, no penalty is payable to exporters or any SSCs, any GST SSCs, even non-exporters whose turnover is less than 5 crore rupees. Exporters who are exporting under a letter of undertaking LUT. Please understand LUT is for every financial year, so you have to apply for a new LUT, that is an online LUT for the year 2021. ARN number has to be generated online. For whatever reason you are not able to generate ARN, please note the LUT will continue till 30th of June 2020. That means your 1920 LUT is valid and continues for next 6 months up to 30th of June 2020. This is based on the notification that any report, document, and return filed or to be filed between 20th March to 29th of June will be extended till 30th of June. Okay. There's a circular which clarifies specifically for export LUT as well. However, my humble request to each and every exporter is the LUT process is completely online. It would hardly take you 5 minutes to apply for an LUT. So do not wait for 30th of June. Preferably apply your new LUT for 2021. It's an ARN number. It just takes not more than 5 minutes to get that LUT issued. All those whose exports IGST refund have been stuck for mismatch of invoice number details with the shipping details, there is an alternative mechanism where you can submit what is called as a concordance table to the customs from the port of export, and they would do the rectification. This was allowed until July of 2019. Very recently, on 21st of April, that is this Monday, they have extended it for export shipping bills up to 31st of December 2019. All exports until 31st of December 2019. If there is an error code SB005, you can submit your concordance table online, on email to the port, and the matchmaking will be done by the port officers and the refund will be processed by them. Just to give you a guideline on this, I'm just not going to discuss much in detail, but we'll give you update on this. Their GST Council has amended certain rules. There under Rule 89.4, where you were claiming your LUT refund, the calculation of turnover of LUT or turnover of zero rated supply has been changed, where they have capped it to 1.5 times of your domestic. So 1.5 times of your domestic value or similar value has been capped. This is requires certain details. In fact, I had an opportunity yesterday to speak to member customs through one of the webinar, and there has been discussion on that. But they are also very clear that this is there to protect on people over invoicing and stuff like that. So 1.5% is where they're going to cap it at, which is going to become some challenging, but we'll see how it comes. At the moment, there's less clarity on that. Uh, okay. One of the interesting rule which has been amended and which all exporters need to know about this is very clearly that Rule 96B has been added, which means that in case in future you are not able to realize the foreign exchange from the buyer, export buyer. Earlier in the GST, there was no problem. RBI had an issue. RBI, you are supposed to do a lot of formalities. But GST, there was no issue. But now with Rule 96B, the if you have not realized the money as per the RBI norms, and if you have claimed refund of LUT under input credit or IGST refund, you are required to refund back with interest within 30 days from the due date. So once your payment due date is over, let's say within 30 days, you are required to pay back your ITC refund or IGST refund to GST along with interest back to the GST authority. That rule has been instructed very recently. For LUT, there was one issue in respect to filing application for refund for months which are overlapping in financial year, like March, April, January, February, March, April, May. If you want to combine all of five together, so you can do that. Now that has been allowed. So bunching of years for different financial year is now going to be allowed. And lastly, under GST, for an application for a LUT refund, the HSN code and SSC code (SSC code) has been made mandatory in the annexure which you file to GST for refund. Coming to shipping related, very hot topic at the moment is there have been several instructions issued by or are the orders issued by DG Shipping, which typically means or which typically mentions that the port authorities, the CFS, the ICDs, and the shipping line should not charge exporters and importers charges in view of damage, detention, ground rent, whatever, because of they are not able to pick up the cargo or give the cargo back or container send it back because of the COVID-19 situation. There were orders issued number 7 and 8, which were restricting these charges not to be levied until 14th of April. There's an order issued dated 22nd of April, or number 11, which has extended it up to 3rd of May 2020, and asking both the port authorities, the CFS, the ICDs, and the shipping lines not to charge any of these charges until 3rd of May. Let me give you a practical view. Yes, I am aware, and the realistic view is the CFS, the ICDs, the port authorities, the shipping lines are reluctant to give this exemption, and there is some legal and other issues which have been taken care or people are facing in terms of they are still being charged at the moment. So in practice, they're being charged, but DG order is already in place. Coming to RBI, you are required to bring in foreign exchange, and in this current time, world over, it's not only in India. There is challenge of getting money, and it will be challenging even after we open back and come down to normalcy. So RBI has increased the time limit. Now, please understand the beautiful part here. The exports made up to or on July 31st. So meaning any exports prior to July 31st, 2020. It could have been in a couple of months earlier. Now, the time period to get a realization is instead of 9 months is 15 months. A complete 6 month extension is given. So you don't have to worry about that if you are able to. So if you are in good terms with the buyer and the buyer really genuinely requires some time because of this pandemic situation, please feel free. You have 15 months and you will be able to close RBI obligations because 15 months is the period for exports until July 31st. Finally, if you have taken ECGC cover, that is the insurance cover, then there have been certain extensions available to you in form of date for your filing of application, in form of representations, in form of your policy date or expiry of the policy of specific shipment policy. This has been specifically given for COVID-19 situation and pandemic situation. This has been already been uploaded on their website and sent to email to everyone. This is specifically to people who have applied for ECGC cover. All right, and that comes to an end. My request to all of you is please stay at home and stay safe, which finally brings to me to the end of my presentation. For people who are asking, I believe a lot of you were asking me to share this presentation. This is going to be shared. You can certainly get this presentation from the link which is right up there.
It will be also uploaded on the FPME website. So from FPME website, it will be available for download.
Yes, it will be available for download through FPME and through website, and it is available on the link there. Right, guys? With this, I can stop sharing my this thing. I am back to see you guys. Feel free to put out your videos back, and Sandeep bhai, we can take question and answers.
Yeah, I mean, before they start the videos, I would like to thank Mir for this insight.
Yes, sir.
We have been noticing that government this time has proactively given all the things. They have thought one step ahead. Who had imagined that RBI, gave this extension of 6 months for due date. So this was the nice one part of government that they have thought about something in a proactive manner and started an implementation on it. Uh, the way in this challenging situation also the government officials they are working, signing the notifications on notifications at late nights and getting all these things done. Really, it should be appreciated on front of. See, we have also suffered under the GST. We have suffered on the restrictions, but ultimately the aim was something where a transparent system should be there. And lately, the government has done this. So let us appreciate this effort of government on behalf of FPME.
Yes, yes,
There
certainly.
are a lot of questions.
In fact, I'm sure you will be. I'm told with close quarters of people who daily deal with government officials that if there's an issue flagged in the morning, within hours they are getting redressal about those. So,
So,
there have been instances where clarifications and things have come on a very war footing, and I'm very um, positively looking at this kind of situation where they are proactively giving much needed support.
so still there are many questions, there are many
Yes,
doubts with our members, and now for 20 minutes we will have this question and answer session so
yes,
that
please.
we can conclude. Members who have they can uh, on their video and raise their hand and ask the question.
I think okay. So, my thing is, yes, I believe you guys have an hand option available. So if you can do that, we Sandeep bhai can see, and then we can take one at a time rather than everybody speaking. So Atul bhai has a question, I believe. Atul bhai, please unmute and ask the question. Atul bhai,
Okay,
yes, we can hear you, sir. What's your question?
no, not now.
Or you don't have a question? Okay. Sandeep bhai, anybody
No.
else? Yeah.
Anyone else who has some questions, basic questions like
Samir bhai has a
uh,
question. Yes, Mr. Samir Gaikwad. Mr. Samir Gaikwad, you are unmuted.
Yeah,
Mr. Samir.
Nirva, it was raised earlier before discussion, not now.
Acha, okay, it was raised earlier. Okay, so okay.
Yes, yes.
I'm not going with the raise of hands, but anybody, let's take it randomly because probably somebody would have raised earlier. Yes, Shailesh bhai or somebody, whoever else, because I could see few hands. Anybody who has a question, they can unmute and ask. Very simple.
Well, Darabankar.
Meru hai.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, this is Nikhil from Ashirwad Exports.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I would like to
But
thank, first of all, to you for a very informative session,
Nikhil
and
bhai, I
also
can't see
to.
you. Is your video on? No.
No, my video is not on.
Okay.
As
Fine.
long as you can hear me.
Yes. Please go ahead.
Right. Sorry. So, thank you very much for the informative session. My question is regarding SB 000. As
Yes.
my IGST refunds are tallied and validated properly,
Okay.
and it is showing validated on the IGST portal on 6th of April.
Yes.
And they are of port INBOM4. That's I think
Air cargo.
airport
Sahar air
air
cargo.
cargo. Yeah,
Huh.
yeah. So by when can I expect refunds? Because it's validated on 6th of April.
So, sir, what I was in a discussion with at one of a session with Mr. Anand Krishnan, Chief Commissioner Air Cargo. What I have made to understand, it was early this week, so maybe Tuesday or Wednesday. What I was made to be aware of that they have recently scrolled out on and as on that date, they had no pendency of any IGST refunds which were ready and scrolled. So there is no pendency. So ideally, it should come within a week's time, and they are scrolling out every second day. So if there is no issue with SB 000, you're mentioning it is 6th of April.
So, nearby, I have this. My same issue is there on 6th of April. My also IGST has been validated, and I happened to meet with the custom officials, and I met one. I discussed this with one Mr. Avasti. So
Yes.
he told me that during that period there were some issues. That's why the IGST process during that period only had some issues. So the scroll generation is getting late and they are working to sort it out. Hopefully, as soon as possible, they will sort out and disperse the IGST return.
Okay.
There is
So-
no other error, Nikhil. There is no other. I am also with you on that date.
okay,
Another
because
thing
my
is, another thing is, Sandeep bhai, Nikhil bhai, I would suggest is, SB000 is one aspect. Scroll date is 6. Have you seen the scroll date? Is it scrolled?
Scroll not generated yet. Scroll is not generated.
So my point is, on the IceGate, you have an option where you can see the scroll being generated. So maybe you need to keep on checking on that. So once those shipping bills get mapped to one of the scroll, it will be in your bank account within a week.
So that's what I discussed with Mr. Avasti, and he said that there is some issue in generating the scroll itself. For during that period, first week of April, they had some system issues. That's why the scroll generation is getting delayed for this. So certain shipping bills which were processed during this first week of April.
Nikhil bhai, when did you last see the scroll generation? When was the last where the scroll was generated or not?
I saw a couple of hours before.
Okay. एक बार निखिल भाई
I
check कर लो,
हाँ मैं
is
check
that
करता हूँ.
scroll
I
is
saw
generated?
19th of April.
हाँ.
But on the other hand, I've received the payments for my C shipments. I mean, INN,
Okay,
SA,
sir, it is like this, it is like this. One bank doesn't work, other bank works. So this is like the same thing. Nava Sheva is a different system. Nava Sheva is connected differently with the PFMS
different.
with the
Okay.
system, and Sahar is connected differently. They are two different independent agencies. Though the
Even the
process and everything is same,
Mundra also.
the process is same, but they are differently connected. So it's like having two laptops. One laptop may not have a problem, another may have a problem. It's like that.
Okay. Okay. All right. So we
So
don't need to have any proceed for any action. Just
at
wait.
the moment, I don't see at the moment any need to do that.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Narendra,
Thank
bhai,
you.
you had a question before I take somebody else's. Mr. Narendra had a question related to digital key. Sir, unfortunately, there is no guideline on that because digital key comes under the IT Act. I think that's a valid suggestion because a lot of keys may get expired in this point of time. And but what I know of and I'm aware of is it's not, see, first of all, there's nothing called as renewal in digital key. There's a new key. Yes, sir. So they can probably do it through online and automated system. I'm not too sure how they will do it, whether they'll accept the online form, scan copy, or something like that. But yes, this is a challenge. There is no government initiative or directive on extending the digital signatures validity because that comes under the IT law. IT meaning not income tax, the Information Technology Act. At the moment, there is no update on that. So if your DGFT or your GST signatures are going to get expired, that is a challenge.
Yeah. Can I put another question? Thanks for these guidelines.
Please, sir.
I have a question.
Yeah,
One
two,
second, sir.
three issues. One is,
Yes, sir.
two, three issues. One is that, we are concentrating only on the IGST refunds. There is another mechanism which is DBK, all industry rate. Okay, AR rates. Okay, that's 1.5%, 1.9%. Many times those claims also don't get automatically credited in the bank account. So there is no mechanism where
Not sometimes, sir. Every time they will get only credited to your bank account automatically. Every time.
correct. But then those claims are also a lot of pendencies there with the customs authority. So
Sir,
if that also can be initiated,
sir, as far as
though the amount.
no, as far as drawback is concerned, now a couple of points. Number one, the circular or the guideline which is come from the board and the finance ministry to the ports and customs is to release both the drawback and the IGST. It is not only for GST refunds. Number two, if your drawback is not being released, my suggestion is please log on to IceGate. There is an option where you can check your shipping bill. There could be some query being raised on your shipping bill. Now, once remember, one shipping bill as a query, and you've not been able to do that, and then multiple products or same products of those kind of gone, there will be there'll be a stoppage of your drawback for that reason that you have not been able to reply on certain queries. So just have a look at it,
Okay.
why there is not. Third, maybe if nothing is on a problem, you may write an email to the port relevant port EDI section. It is the details are available on their website. Send them the list of shipping bills where your drawback is not released. You should be getting the drawback. There is not a major issue with drawback. Sandeep bhai, I mean, anybody else facing a bigger challenge on drawback?
Yeah. I am also facing March first week. They have we need to understand. Even though government says that we have asked ports to release all the drawback and IGST refund,
Hmm.
whatever I am discussing with the custom officials, we need to understand that they are also working at 25% staff. So they have just cleared February. Now they are coming up for school generation of March. I'm talking.
Sandeep bhai, with all due respect, March, April, we all understand. I'm assuming if the
So
drawback is beyond prior to January, February kind of a situation.
no. That is
March,
not an issue.
March, we all
February,
know.
March.
See, March, we all know that suddenly we were put under lockdown. So whatever process was there, and then only essentials and limited things were being done. April also the same thing is happening, but with a better tendency being cleared. In March, April, I can still understand they would get cleared, sir. Don't worry about that. If there's
And
something prior to January, February, your old drawback, I think since Narendra was saying about
Yeah,
lot of drawbacks.
old drawbacks. Yes, old drawbacks.
Sir, old drawback, I think most of them have got cleared. I don't see a reason there could be specific issue on your shipping bill, sir. Please have examine on
Okay.
those shipping bill. IceGate, you'll be able to see it shipping bill to shipping bill.
what I suggest, Narendra ji, is you
Yes,
just check on IceGate. Just to check on IceGate, is there any issue where drawback is with pending with DBK superintendent or any other reason? You just note it down. If there is no reason for it, you just mail that to advisory@fpmeindia.com.
Okay.
And what I will suggest nearby, as you also share the email IDs on behalf of FPME, and we will present this case to the concerned authorities, and we will see that the drawback has been removed.
Yeah. Once he identifies the shipping bill, then there is no problem.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
Thanks a lot. Thank you very much.
if you'll recall, during Diwali period, I think from June 2019 to November 2019, many Mumbai Sahar Air Cargo had not released any drawback. I recall on behalf of FPME, we personally had given every 15 days one representation to clear all this from 1st of October till 15th of November. Ultimately, they took the cognizance and then the system was resolved and the IGST was drawback was credited to the respected accounts.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Yes.
I have a question, please.
Yes, sir. Who's speaking, sir? Sir, I'm
Yeah.
unable to. Yes. Mr.
My
Vasudev.
question is
Your name, please. Your good name,
Vasudev.
please. Welcome, sir.
Thank you. Sir, my question is regarding IGST refund on exports.
Yes, sir.
Previously, whenever they allowed the IGST refund to be stuck because of SB 005 error,
Yes.
and this annexure A was being accepted in the
Yes.
past,
Yes.
they used to publish in the newspaper some email addresses of the officers in Nhava Sheva and airport cargo complex, and
Yes.
including the names of the officials and their mobile numbers also.
Yes.
This time, can we, as an association, can we publish such email addresses and the official's name? Because that makes things very easier. Because once you, if you send some email, you should know which proper email address it should go to. Otherwise, you will keep on hunting, nothing will happen.
Sir, we will share that email because ideally what has happened is they have not changed or they have not come into a new format, new system. They are just extending the previous system. So the IGST email ID which was there for air cargo or for Nhava Sheva, it is the same email ID which continues. What happened is at that point of time there was a deadline until some date which was extended subsequently, this notification also further extends the date. Rest everything as per the, like, even this notification doesn't tell you that you have to submit concordance table. It says that the earlier notification which was expiring is now extended till this. So you'll have to go to the earlier notification and understand, okay, we have to submit a concordance table. The format is so and so. But yeah, what your suggestion is, I think we can take a note of it. Sandeep bhai and us will probably coordinate, and maybe Sandeep bhai on email or on, I mean, on website or somewhere he can put this for the benefit of all the members. Sandeep bhai,
Okay.
we can put this on the website, right?
Yeah.
Yes. So, but the email ID remains the same, sir. Email ID is not changing.
Okay.
Yes. Anybody else? Nobody else.
So just a simple
Sir, I have
FAQ.
one question.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
This is Dr. Raut.
Yes, doctor sir.
Sir, I have one question with regards to notification number 48. What you said, this 3-ply, 4-ply mass and 95 are banned.
Yes.
But if you go through the notification, and the same notification they have mentioned about 10 products, and that can be freely exported. Even they have mentioned like that.
Correct.
And in that they have like surgical mask, disposable mask, all gloves, ophthalmic, all the 10 products. And even in the effect of this notification remark, they have also mentioned these 1 to 10 products are allowed freely for exports. Then why there is a ban on 3-ply and 4-ply mask?
Sir, okay. No. So you'll have to understand that originally the items which were banned were PPE and N95 mask. Then there was a clarity given by notification 48 where they were said only PPE and N95, and there was a list of 10 items which were referring to which was allowed. So it said except for these items, which included your surgical blades, gloves, non-woven shoe covers, gas masks. However, subsequently by notification 52, they have specifically prohibited surgical masks, disposable masks, 2-3-ply masks. So N95 mask and 2-3-ply mask both are now prohibited. Now, the rest items which are there in the part of that list continues. They are free. So gloves is
Okay.
free.
Okay.
Your shoe cover is free.
Okay.
So basically it is done as originally we blocked everything, and then we started giving some leeway by way of industry and understanding that okay, we don't need to block gloves, we don't need to block certain other items. At some point of time, 2-3-ply were allowed, but then they stopped 2-3-ply specifically as well. So if you look at, you are referring to 48, but if you look at 52 of 19th March.
I got 53. I haven't gone through 52.
No, sir. Have a look at 52. If you want to just open it up, it's 52, where it specifically says from notification number 48, item number 1, which is 2-3-ply mask, has been now moved to prohibited. And there's a paragraph which says in 52 also that other items of 48 continue to be free.
Okay, sir.
Dr. Raut,
Yes,
just
sir.
to clear your doubt, we were meeting during this phase. We had a meeting in Parnexil in Delhi in March first week, and when this ban was implemented, we had a discussion for that. So what the government had data that N95 mask is not made in India, was not made in India during that time. It was 100% imported. And so government proactively decided that if this is the case, and if India we have a sizable numbers, then they should ban all the masks. And then they saw that in India the masks, 3-ply and 2-ply masks are available, and at that time the pandemic was not that much growing. But then once the pandemic saw growing, and then they got some time to get Indian manufacturers to have their own manufacturing stocks to be generated. Many manufacturers we discussed they manufactured that, and the stock was 60% of the stock of 2-ply, 3-ply mask was purchased by the government, so that when there is a huge pandemic, government can release that stock and give it to the needy. So I think this was a very well planned thing, and we should appreciate it. So as the exporter, we are at lose because of this uncertain things. We lose many times. But then I have been saying from this that whoever are dealing in masks, sanitizers, and all of this, they should take care that first we should think of India. I think Raj Zaveri also mentioned that in one of our discussions. And first take
Yeah.
care of India, and also whenever such things you deal, please see that all advances, whatever you receive, you keep it in EFC account, that is for foreign currency account. So if there is change in policy of government, you can at least refund the amount to your customer, and you are at not loss.
Yeah.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I have one
Thank
question.
you, sir.
Salil, 1 second. Salil, just 1 second. I'll come back to you. I had a couple of
Yeah.
questions. One issue which I'm reading on the chat is MEIS 1,000 rupees waiver. Sir, I agree. It's a common. It's an issue where if you apply for MEIS, you have to pay 1,000, and your finance team has an issue. Sir, just for reference, of course, there is no waiver on that. But just to give you an idea, the online fees is now payable through debit card, credit card also. So when you're applying for DKFT, you may probably at this point of time use your credit card or a debit card and then get your finance team reimburse it to you. So then that can be an issue. Second, COVID tax on import of specific items. I have heard about this. This is in the news. A lot of frontiers has been talking about 15% some COVID tax coming in chemical and certain items. Uh, my suggestion is let's not contemplate it. If it comes, we have no control over it. It's the law of the land. When it comes, we will fight it out, or we will take a discussion on that. At the moment, let's not contemplate. Ki bhai, if it comes, it comes. I can't. I mean, nobody can stop it. When it comes, we'll look at the fine print, see where are we affected, how are we affected. If it is something which is really a problem, or it is somewhere government also needs money, so we'll have to look at it when it comes. So 15% or whatever that COVID tax likely to come, we'll have to wait for it. Sailesh bhai, please.
Yeah, meanwhile, we have came up with a very innovative product in terms of mask. Instead of conventional 2-ply, 3-ply, and N95, we have come up with and self-sanitizing 5-ply mask. Even though, like in current scenario, we are busy in catering our domestic requirement, and we are not trying export, since we are not been able to meet up our domestic requirements. My generalized question would be, if we can try and attempt for export also, would there be any resistance from the authority?
At the moment, yes.
Because there is no specification, that specific notification mentioning, they had released a notification mentioning N95 very specifically, 2-ply, 3-ply very specifically, but there is nothing beyond that. And my the category of my mask is completely different.
Sir, notification 52 says the word user or all surgical masks / disposable masks, including 2-3-ply masks.
Okay.
So the
Right.
word
So,
in notification 52 says all surgical masks, all medical
okay.
disposable masks.
I understood. So I understood. So that means there is no further mentioning of any particular category of the product.
The reason they have clarified for 2-3-ply because there was an exemption available. So they wanted to say कि बच्चा even 2-3-ply को भी हमने stop कर दिया.
I got it.
So at
All
this,
right.
so to answer your question, at this juncture, I feel it is going to be a challenging to export. But let's assume once
All
we
right.
come down to a little normalcy, because the
Right.
product is innovative, and this is now going to become a standard norm that people will start wearing masks. People will have to use masks on a daily or have a social distancing. It's not going to change in next 2-3 months or 6 months or year. So maybe
Yeah,
you
right.
can explore as a potential of exporting the product in a little future.
All right, sir. All right. Thank you, Mirwai. Thanks for the clarification.
Pleasure. Yes.
Thanks.
Anybody else?
Sir, good afternoon. This is Abhishek.
Yes, Abhishek ji. Boliye.
My SGST refund has been stuck since December. So
Okay.
now when government has issued a notice that they will give refund till 30th April. Until now, I haven't received my SGST since all the procedure has been done. I have got the payment advice and everything,
Okay.
but haven't got the refund in the account.
Okay.
With the few days left only, is it possible to escalate the procedure somewhere?
You went so you have applied for your ITC refund on export. Am I correct?
Offline, yeah,
No,
offline
no. I'm saying
refund,
LUT refund. LUT refund.
LUT refund.
So
Right, right.
your SGST, your CGST refund has been credited to your bank account.
Yes, CGST has been credited to my
Okay.
account.
So and you, who is your? I mean, where do you fall under? Do you fall under CGST or you fall under SGST?
I fall under CGST.
So you are under central. So now what you'll have to do, because central is your jurisdiction authority. So
Right.
you may write to the nodal agencies there. Email addresses are available on the website. You already have the PMT issued for you, the refund order issued to you. I mean, it is positively to be taken up. I mean, I don't see an issue there. It could be just a technical
No,
issue or a.
sir, I have done every procedure. I have mailed everywhere, and I have gone to the department as well, where they have shown me in their system that the email has been sent to Mumbai,
Ah,
and this was in February.
correct.
So
Like
now it has not been credited yet. That's so. Any other specific department to where I can approach?
No, sir, no, sir, no, sir. So see, the logic is like this, sir. What happens is your authority is central, right? What happens is central checks your refund, then central processes it, and once it is okay, they will issue the refund order. They will send that refund order copy one for their offices to release the CGST portion, and then they will send it one copy or an email to SGST to release that.
Right,
So
right. They
you know
did
the
that.
yeah. So your SGST guys has to actually only and only give you refund without even looking into the merit of it, because that processing is already done by central authority. I see it is more of a a payment release issue rather than anything else. So if you can get your central authority guys responding or asking back, maybe even if you have to write to your commissioner central GST, ये saying sir आपने तो फरवरी में लिख दिया अभी तक आया नहीं है सर,
Right.
please help us. I think he would be able to
All
take
right. All right. I'll knock on the commissioner door for that.
this. So
Thank
your
you, sir.
central GST is your officer, na? So you'll have to talk to central GST.
Yeah,
Hello.
I've got the central GST.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, yeah. I can add to his solution because we have experienced this problem in past. So for
So
SGST payment,
just Ashutosh ji, you are speaking. Am I right?
yeah, I'm speaking. So I'm
Okay,
answering the query of
please.
previous person.
So Ashutosh ji is also AJ and Abhishek ji also AJ. Wow, great.
Oh,
So Ashutosh ji, please
this is
answer.
the
So
problem.
Please help him out.
right, you see, there is a person by the name Mr. Indalkar. Mr. Indalkar is Deputy Commissioner in Majgaon office of state of
Okay.
GST.
VAT, previously VAT,
SGST.
right now SGST.
Huh.
Right. So his department takes care of refunds. You can try writing an email to him, and
Do
I'm
you have an
sure
email
if
ID?
uh, I I I have it somewhere, so I'll hunt it down and send it to you. That's what I can do.
Yeah, that will work. Thank you so much for that.
Great.
And then-
Great. So
okay.
even
Thank you so much, Ashutosh ji.
even in webinars, there can be solutions found across each other, like your meeting with each other at some point of time. Great. Thank you,
Sure,
Ashutosh
sure.
ji. Please share that number
Thank you, Ashutosh ji.
and Abhishek ji, if you get that, if you are able to resolve that, maybe you want to write back to Sandeep bhai, so uh, kind of an SOP can be developed or a note can be developed for all the members. So in case if they have a similar
Definitely,
situation, we will take it further, and so everybody can benefit out of it.
definitely.
Kaushik bhai, you are not able to hear Dr. Kaushik Barot. You are not able to hear. I'm so sorry, but I assume there would be some issue with your end because I believe everybody else is able to hear. Yes, Sandeep bhai, you want to add something?
Kaushik Bhai wanted to ask something.
I don't know. Kaushik bhai is not able to hear. If somebody can connect to Kaushik bhai and ask. Kaushik bhai, if you are not able to hear, if you want to ask something, you may write on a chat. Narendra bhai, Nepal export in INR not allowed. Sorry, that's not possible.
Is
INR
he audible now?
INR payments for Nepal export is not allowed. I mean, benefit of MEIS is not allowed. Sorry, you can't get it. That's the sad part. Yes. Anybody else? I think somebody is connecting to Kaushik bhai. Yes.
સંદીપભાઈ અવાજ નથી આવતો
કૌશિક
મારો
ભાઈ,
વાંધો સાહેબ
કૌશિક ભાઈ અવાજ આવે છે. તમારો અવાજ આવે છે.
શું બોલે છે તો સંભળાવવું જોઈએ ને યાર ઓકે ટ્રાય કરું છું ના ના
Yes. Anybody else? Sandeep bhai.
I think we have done. I'll request Meghal or Nimish Bhai, any one of them, to conclude with a vote of thanks. Nimish Bhai, is he here? Nimish Bhai. Meghal,
Meghal bhai is there.
Meghal, are you there?
Yes.
Yeah, Meghal is there.
I see him in the list. Okay, guys, people who wanted Mr. Indalkar's number, Ashutosh ji has, send it in the chat. So maybe you want to take a note of it. Sandeep bhai, if you can just want to copy that and send it to you on WhatsApp, because after this, the chat will get deleted. Mr. Vilas Indalkar number for SGST has been shared. Thank you so much, Ashutosh ji. Appreciate. Yes, sir. Meghal bhai, to you.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mihir Bhai, for such a wonderful session.
My
It was
pleasure.
very enlightening for all FPME members. Hello.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. So, hello.
Yes, Meghal bhai, we
Yeah,
can hear
Meghal, we
you.
are hearing you. Continue.
Hello.
Meghal bhai, we can hear you. You can continue, sir.
Yeah. Sorry for the network issue. And it was wonderful hearing you, sir. And request you to share the presentation so I can forward it to all the members as well. And it was a very hard work we can see from your presentation.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mirji.
Please stay at home and stay safe.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Meher bhai. Thanks, FPME.
Thank you, Nimish bhai. Thank you very much.